During harsh winters, where food is scarce and hunger is rife, the Algonquian tribes of North America warn their people never to resort to consuming human flesh. Doing so would not only bring immense shame to themselves and their families, leading to ostracization and punishment, but it would create something so terrifying that many will only whisper its name. Every once in a while, though, it happens. Months into a particularly cruel winter, a young man cannot bear the hunger anymore, and he sees an easy kill. Once the meat has been cooked and the rest of the body disposed of, he takes his first mouthful of human flesh. This is something that cannot be undone. The man goes to bed with a full stomach and sleeps all night, but when he wakes up in the morning, he feels a hunger worse than he had before. Although he doesn't understand this, he knows just what to do, and consumes more flesh, satisfying his cravings. Before long, others in the village find out what is happening, and his wife is appalled by what he has done. They all abandon him and he is left alone in the freezing wilderness. Initially, the young man is devastated, but that devastation is superseded by the lust for human flesh. In time, he forgets his past life and begins to transform into something else altogether. The surrounding tribes begin to hear tales and soon see the trademark signs at kill sites. It is a super predator. Fast, strong, calculating, and incredibly violent. There are many pronunciations of the name, but most know it as a Wendigo. Driven mad by its insatiable hunger, the creature becomes even more efficient at killing and constantly evolves until it is in its final form. As the years go by, there is nothing left of the man and the transition is complete. The Wendigo is all-powerful and propelled by a combination of hunger, greed, and hate at levels that most human beings will never know or understand. It can hear panicked heartbeats from miles away, and to add to its cruelty, can imitate perfectly a human voice, to trick anyone into thinking that a loved one is nearby, luring them into its path if it wants an easy meal. Descriptions of the beast vary, but it is generally thought to be very tall, around 15 feet, and have slim but sinewy limbs. They have been described as having pale gray skin with no hair by some, and covered in short fur by others. Quite often, the lips are said to have been chewed away, and in modern times, the Wendigo is usually depicted as having antlers. The creature is known to carry a very unpleasant smell, like rotting meat, which is one of the only ways it can give away its position. To kill a Wendigo, an unusual method must be used, as they cannot be hunted like an everyday animal. The only thing that can destroy this terrifying creature is to ambush it, preferably when it is sleeping or in hibernation, which they do for months at a time. Its heart, which is now a type of rock-hard ice, is to be cut out with a weapon made only of solid silver. Once this has been done, the heart must be buried inside a silver box, somewhere in consecrated ground. Next, the body is to be dismembered, again, with a silver weapon and then burned. Only this will rid the world of a Wendigo. Wendigos are also said to be capable of possessing a person's mind, especially during hard times. The most famous case of this occurred in the winter of 1878. A Plains Cree trapper named Swift Runner and his family were starving. His oldest son had died of natural causes, but then something happened that made Swift Runner murder his remaining 5 sons and also his wife. He then proceeded to eat the bodies. The strange thing was that there were emergency food supplies at Hudson's Bay Company Post, only 25 miles away. Swift Runner would have known this all along. In the end, it was concluded that as he resorted to cannibalism so close to food supplies and that he killed everyone present, he was suffering from Wendigo psychosis and executed by authorities at Fort Saskatchewan. Jack Fiddler, born in 1839, lived primarily with the Anishinaabe people in northwestern Ontario, where he became a powerful shaman. He was well known for conjuring animals and protecting his people from spells. But most importantly, he was celebrated for his ability to defeat the Wendigo, and is said to have killed 14 in his lifetime. Sometimes, distraught family members would bring a loved one to Jack, who were in the beginning stages of becoming a Wendigo. Other times, a Wendigo itself would ask to be euthanized, and end a lifetime of despair. In 1907, Jack and his brother Joseph were arrested for murder by 2 members of the Northwest Mounted Police. They attended trial, but Jack escaped, only to hang himself. His body was found later the next day. Most sightings of Wendigos occurred between the 1800s and the 1920s. Every so often, however, a new report of a Wendigo surfaces. The latest happened in 2019, deep in the Canadian wilderness, where a group of experienced hikers were subjected to a collection of terrifying howls and screams. One of the hikers was quoted as saying, "I've heard many different animals in the wild, but nothing like this." In modern times, many Native American people recognize the Wendigo as a metaphor. A stark warning of what can happen if you disrupt the balance of nature and act out in greed and excessive self-consumption. In testing times, especially very cold winters, it is essential that everyone pull together to get through to the spring. In fact, among the Cree, the Assiniboine and the Ojibwe people, there is a ceremonial dance performed during times of famine to reinforce the seriousness of the Wendigo taboo. There, the participants wear masks and dance backwards around their drums. The Wendigo has gained popularity in modern times, becoming the focus of a variety of novels, some written by Native American authors, horror movies, comics, and also video games. The creature itself seems to have captured the imagination of people and also the greed and anarchy which it represents. It is certainly one of the more disturbing urban legends and embedded deep in Native American culture. If you have heard of any Wendigo encounters or had any yourself, leave them in the comments section below and don't forget to like and subscribe.